Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to another recording session of Hearthstone. So we've got 3 quests to do today. We need to get 3 victories, or 5 victories with the Rogue and Warrior. Yeah, that's 5. And then 3 victories with the Warlock. You may notice in a second or right now that the Hearthstone deck tracker says 0 victories and 0 losses for everything, because it is now been the deck rebuild. Everything's been rebuilt except for the Paladin Wild deck, which was the one I used for all the newest expansion. We don't have any reason to do a Tavern Brawl again, which is good, so let's, I suppose, start somewhat simply with just the Rogue. And we're playing ranked because the month has started again, and we can either play this one or this one. So let's just start with the Rogue standard and see this. So apparently the import mechanism has changed completely for Hearthstone deck tracker. So right before I was about to start recording today, I thought to myself, man, I haven't gotten around to putting anything in the Hearthstone deck tracker. This is going to be a nightmare. This is going to take forever. Because it used to take forever. It required a lot of adjustment. Now it seems perfectly just easily done. I don't know if this is a particularly good deck that I made. If I recall correctly, the Rogue deck is kind of a useless deck anyways, so I may just play it once on standard and once on wild. Some of the decks, even with the new
legions I command,
even with your new with the new cards, didn't really change much, and still suck quite a lot. That card you just saw, by the way, is in every single deck because it gives you 5 legendary cards. In fact, it is so overpowered from One Night in Karazhan. It's the most overpowered card. That one card demands that you actually have to buy One Night in Karazhan, beat it all, just to get that card, just to put it in your deck, just to stay competitive against everyone else. Now, it's only been like 1 or 2 days, so this player hasn't done that, but very quickly he is going to lose. Here you can see, here's a legendary card that I got from that Lord Malkazar.
Here we go.
job's done.
Plus I have 30 cards where he has 25 because I get 5 extra cards, which also means I won't ever run out of cards before him. Almost certainly not. It's so overpowered. It's also by itself a decent card for 5 mana. It's not like it's a super weak card. That would be the balance I would argue you probably need to add to it. Let's see. Battlecry's trigger once. Battlecry. Replace your hero with a better one. That would be interesting to trigger that twice.
So many options.
Let's Battlecry deal 1 damage.
Here we go.
This? You're out. And then combo, well, not combo,
Job's
but
done.
Battlecry. And do that. Nice. I think that works well. So yeah, now that Hearthstone deck tracker automatically imports, it really has. It doesn't have it enabled, or it didn't have it enabled for me by default, which I guess is kind of to be expected. I'm never really gonna have the default settings unless I got a different computer and just installed Windows 10 from default. That's what's really holding me back from doing some kind of updated Hearthstone deck tracker video, amongst other issues. There's a couple other issues too. It's like, if I make a new video, views will probably still get directed to my old video, just the way YouTube works, which YouTube is kind of
who knows what secrets will uncover?
messed up on that.
Here we go.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take some more damage to the face, and then do this.
Job done.
So, but that's really, really nice, and I imagine somebody today installing Hearthstone Deck Tracker would have a very much easier setup for it. Still, if you're trying to record with OBS, that's a bit of a problem, but what can I do? So, the other issue here is I've got a full board filled up here, but it's not exactly legitimately filled up. There were some things I could have certainly not bothered to list here to talk about, but let's see what happens when battle cries trigger twice on this guy.
Welcome to the Grand Tournament, champion.
Equip a 2/2 weapon. So, nope, battlecry triggering twice on that does nothing. That's probably to be expected.
Your history.
Here we go.
Playing very oddly, I would say. So, I suppose the first thing to talk about, and this will almost certainly have been a controversy that's come and gone, is YouTube's
The gates are open.
has this new niceness push that maybe they've been doing possibly for a year. It seems like now they've been actually secretly doing it for a year and just haven't been telling anybody. Where if they deem your video to be controversial and not advertiser friendly, they were just secretly putting the video in a secondary group that the advertisers had to opt into it. A lot of times it has to do with tags. It seems like this is all like third person information you're getting and all of that, and it's like, well, is it a niceness push or is it an advertiser friendly push? It's really an advertiser friendly push.
Blood and plunder.
The truth of the matter still is that YouTube wants advertisers. They need advertisers, and in the same way,
Here we go.
YouTubers need ads and advertisers. So we can't just blindly ignore the fact that there are some people on there on YouTube that just cuss like crazy, go for drama, and they're getting a lot of eyes, but they're not there. Also, this has to relate somewhat to, like, they don't want you to be able to make a YouTube video after some kind of huge tragedy has occurred and profit off of that. So, this sucks. I have to
Here
do it this
we
way.
go.
So, unlike a news channel where if a earthquake or terrorist attack or something happens, they absolutely run that news and get more viewers and get advertisers on there, and that's what the advertisers are in for. YouTube just doesn't want to allow that because they're trying to look like the good guys and they're trying to be the good guys, but but it doesn't.
Walk the plank.
Scurvy dog.
Oh, darn it.
Job's done.
That was an oops.
Mistakes were made.
I didn't need to play this guy. I could have just equipped a weapon and won. Now all he has to do is that anyway.
Nightmare begins.
Not paying attention. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. Really? Let's now go to our wild and see what that deck is. Now the question will be the auto select. Will it realize that I changed decks? So you don't even go into the collection manager anymore to import. It just says go into the play menu. Maybe Hearthstone changed how it works and they figured that out. So that's really great news. So I'm in a very weird position as far as this whole YouTube push. You'll notice I didn't do what a lot of people did. Certainly, I didn't immediately make a video responding to it or talking about it, because that's not what my channel's about. I'm a video game critic. I don't make specific drama videos or response videos or whatever you want to call them about what YouTube specifically is doing. One of the persons that did do that, oddly though, like the day before, he put a video up going, "Thank you YouTube for sending me this email that said somebody's claimed copyright on this, but we believe it's fair use, so we're gonna leave it up." It literally went from several videos where their YouTube's push to protect fair use is they're doing a good thing to the exact next day they're complaining. And that's gonna suck for somebody in YouTube. Somebody's gotta really think that that's just an awful turn of events, that one day that they're getting praise, which YouTube almost never gets, and then next day they're just getting hated on. I mean, it is this only, it's gonna quickly become YouTube is YouTube and YouTube is the worst. To steal a phrase from the F Konami Jim Sterling show, where Konami is Konami and Konami is the worst. It's quickly getting down to that. But I'm in a weird position because I don't cuss and I don't do these drama things. So even if YouTube really was going to stick to it, which they're not, they're being kind of flippant and they're using bots and they're adjusting the bots always. But even if they were gonna just bold-faced stick to it and get rid of people that are constantly talking about controversial topics just to get views, constantly cussing, constantly not family friendly, and they tried to make YouTube just super friendly for like YouTube Kids. For me personally, it wouldn't really affect me that much. I had already been acting that way. I mean, this is hipster nice boy argument right here, but I was a good boy before it was cool. When I did The Witcher 3, I edited it out because at the time my interpretation of their community guidelines specifically said like no nudity at all. Now it seems like the rules may have changed and they're okay with some nudity as long as it's not sexualized or gratuitous, which still is a very vague thing. And well, here I'm gonna win just because this says I'm playing. I'll take that victory. So this is a Death Rattle deck. I made 2 Death Rattle decks in the deck rebuild. Turns out,
Here we go.
I get this feeling that people don't expect Death Rattle decks, and it turns out for Rogue and for another Hunter, there's actually rather good collection of Death Rattle cards. So yeah, if YouTube got rid of all the bad people, that do the things they say they don't like, that would be okay with me in my own selfish mind. Although if they come for them today, they'll come for me tomorrow. I have probably 4 or 5 times over my 3,000 videos let slip a cuss word. Even though I rated 18 the cat lady, and so I'm not doing monetization by my own choice because I want that age gate on there. Who's to say that they don't start giving those special notice too, or they probably do already, and they're going to come back and say, well, you rated this 18, that caused us to look at it, and because we looked at it we realized that we don't want this video on there at all, or we're going to give you a community strike for even posting it. There's all kinds of things that could potentially happen.
That's an error.
The issue is always a balance of negotiation with the advertisers. The advertisers, in general, advertisers, are very much, how would you describe it? Obnoxious, stuck up, entitled, all of the above. Like, I'm not sure what the exact term would be called. They're demanding. The advertisers are demanding, and they want their brand associated with the best of the best. So, a good analogy, I suppose, is they want their brand associated with the best football player, the most popular football players. They don't want it associated with the guy who just entered the NFL and nobody knows anything about him. And they're the ones spending the money, so in a lot of ways they're just trying to get the most bang for their buck. Hey, there's a prime example in which Brawl does not actually work. Interesting.
Time to die.
I'm looking forward to seeing a very high win ratio on all of my decks. I don't know if I'm really going to get it, but it would be nice. A lot of my decks were around 30% win ratios, really low. Some of them, another, I'd say third of them were about 50%
Be thirsty.
equal, which is what Hearthstone creators want, is your deck to win 50% of the time. And then 4, maybe 5 of them at most had above 50%, some 1 or 2 of them even in the 60s. So it's really a weird scenario to be in, but in the end I have to do what's right. It's like you can't just ignore for your own benefit. The truth of this is YouTube's gonna have to tell these people, these advertisers, look, if we start ad revenuing our biggest channels because they're controversial, we're gonna lose all of our audience, and then we're not going to be able to, you're not going to get any views on your ads. Advertisers are going to have to realize that it is a different thing to put your ads on a YouTube than it is to put your ads on, well, actually it's the same thing, isn't it? Like, if you put your ads in a newspaper and then there's an editorial right next to it you don't like, you shouldn't really have any recourse or power to make the newspaper change what it's publishing. And sadly, the truth is, they kind of do. And that's, I guess, the problem is that advertisers have been able to pull funding and severely affect newspapers to the point where newspapers are no longer actually advertising certain things. So the advertisers and thus the corporations are actually trying to, I guess they are trying to have control. And I guess that is the end of it. It's like, isn't it? It's not that YouTube per se wants to get rid of the people who are talking about controversial things. It's that the advertisers want to. It's that the corporations want to. And it's not simply always because it puts their product in a bad association. It may very well be for political beliefs of those advertisers and those companies.
I will fight with honor.
Watch your back.
I guess at the core of it, the problem is money, as is always the case, isn't it? At the core of it, there should be no such thing as advertising. You either need something because you have an actual human need for something, and thus you should have the ability to get it. And there should not really be any decisions there. We don't advertise different types of antibiotics, because if you have a certain infection, the doctor has a certain kind of antibiotic for you, and that's all there is to it. And sadly, we do advertise other drugs that shouldn't happen, causing people to want to get on drugs that they shouldn't be on according to their own trained professional doctors. But yeah, it would be a much better society if you need clothes, you go down to the clothes depot, they give you the standard clothes, the clothes that have been designed to be the most comfortable, the most long-lasting, the most effective.
Here we go.
And if you want to do some art with those clothes and stitch them into some different fashion, that's up to you, but that art should come from the individual. It shouldn't be pushed upon you or encouraged on you from the group, the corporation, or the manufacturer of clothes. So I would just give everybody a standard set of, personally, I'd just give everybody a standard set of solid colors. That's all you need, really. Red shirt, blue shirt, pink shirt, white shirt, green shirt. That's all you need.
I wonder. Here
Anything
we
more
go.
is just frivolous fashion. And if you want to do fashion, fine. Make your own fashion. Get your friends if you can't sew. Make friends with somebody who can sew. Sure. But it should be a very personal and very artistic thing. We don't need everybody having a copy of the Mona Lisa. Then the Mona Lisa as a picture stops having value. And then in this thought where people have needs and their needs are met in a very standardized and basic way, which I'm dancing around it, but this is called socialism. Advertisers don't at that point have any power or exist at all, because they don't need to exist. There may still be lobbyists, unfortunately, that are lobbying whatever organizing group is designing and in charge of making the clothes depots and the clothes. But at the very least, I would take one lobbyist over 1 million ads. Of course, that's not the world I live in. I live in this this crazy capitalistic world. So I need ads to, I need ad revenue personally to go up. My ad revenue is still garbage. It's still teetering around $1 a week. This past week I worked very hard with the final week of One Night in Karazhan, and because of that,
Thank you.
there probably will be a little bit more. Plus, I also got the Stranger Things video, which that will be a contributing factor also to my revenue for the past rolling 7 days. But yeah, I need advertising revenue to go up because I have bills to pay, and certainly not getting enough income from this to actually pay them. Plus, I'd also, there is this inherent thing. I also, at some point, need this to actually turn into a real job and make up for things. I certainly don't have money going into retirement, and this YouTube thing is not going forever. That also is an issue that is going to cause like, even if I started making $40,000-$50,000 a year, if I only make it for 1 or 2 years, that's not enough for a lifetime. And I really would prefer this job to be right up to the end of my life, paying for all of that. I don't want to have to, at the worst time, at 65, at what should be retirement age, go, well, nobody watches YouTube anymore, so now I have to go find some job somewhere. And it's like, oh, nobody wants to hire anybody that old. So yeah, that becomes its own issue. Let's see. I need to start playing some of these.
Who's next?
Here we go.
So, yeah, I definitely need advertising to go up. So if it means getting rid of the bad guys, that's fine. It also might at some point put more competition out there. If a lot of people decide they're gonna stop doing YouTube and just go to some other service, that would be great. But sadly, the only other service that even makes slight sense is doing either Twitter or Facebook, and neither one of them are going to be any more friendly for those controversial figures talking about controversial things. I desperately should get like a Patreon set up, but I don't have enough. I just don't have enough viewers and subscribers for it to justify. If people were donating to my
Here we go.
through YouTube to me in any fashion, then and in the regular way, then I'd say okay, Patreon time. But I've got 85 subscribers. Most shows are still getting 1 or 2 views at most, 4 or 5. We may have knocked that number up a little bit, but not by much. And but that is where it's got to go. Is eventually I need patrons, I need income coming directly from the viewers, so that we could say, well, even if YouTube decided that my very tame videos, in my opinion, don't qualify for ad revenue. If they did decide to say that, it's like, well, I've got to correct myself, I guess. Pilot destroyer. Pilot destroyer.
Here we go.
So, but that's kind of thing. I can't really abide, and at the core of it, even if this is a huge overaction and we're nowhere near the point, I can't really abide somebody destroying YouTube from the inside just because they're filling it with completely inappropriate thing. And YouTube's always been consistent with that. They've always said that this isn't a porn hub. You can't just fill it with porn, and that's exactly what would have happened if they had said, sure, go ahead, but put porn on the YouTube. That's 100% what would have occurred in the first year. But I don't know how you fix this any better than that. Let's see.
What do you want?
Let's see.
Here we go.
When you attacks restore 2 health.
Too soon.
So I don't think I'm gonna win this battle, unfortunately, but yep, there's the end of that. So that's just kind of on the YouTube niceless push. I guess I have to be behind it. Sadly, I mean, I can't. I think they're probably going extreme. No, being behind is the wrong way. I guess I have to just be neutral on it, mostly. It doesn't affect me. It's only going to affect the people that are rude. I would love personally to see all the rude people and the drama people go away. The things that get promoted to me are garbage on YouTube, and I know there's better videos out there. I'm not saying my videos are the better videos, but I know there's better videos out there than seeing drama and react videos on YouTube, and maybe I get tricked and click on them, and that's why I get suggested them. But a lot of people seem to have that issue, because they keep seeing them. And I'd much rather my videos or videos that are not drama like mine get more views than these drama people. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what they do. They're probably going crazy with it right now, but they're probably also fixing it. I didn't even mention that now it has an appeals button, so if you get demonetized you can appeal. Before, for the past year, sneakily, it hasn't even told you really that you were getting less ad revenue, and it seems like they've changed it now to you get no ad revenue at all if you're controversial. So at least now you can appeal it. Just be careful what you tag and be careful what you talk about, and don't make a drama channel. Drama channels aren't going to last very long anyways. You're going to run out of steam. Well, we may all run out of steam, and I've certainly run out of steam on this recording. That was one topic. I guess there really is enough here to talk about for 3 recordings. I'm surprised. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.